Good afternoon, everyone. Sarah Yun and the rest of the team. My name is Terso Peracte. I'm a nurse. You can call me Tears because tears are the
There's
Hello, I am Angel Cabrera. Same with Jenny from the Chaplaincy Department.
I am Lila Del Monte, a plain housewife and full-time mother.
She's our guest attendee. My wife.
And this was your son?
Yes.
Say, what is your name? Say hi, I am Bibi. Yeshua.
third day.
He's 30.
He's trying to say he's 30?
30.
30 said he got COVID.
Yes, well, I'm glad that all of you are here. And you know, the thing is that we're all called, everyone is called to be housewives. And anyone that is a part of the church, every church member is called to be a medical missionary. So that's, you know, I'm speaking maybe partly to medical, you know, also chaplaincy, but also everyone. And you know, for those who are medical professionals, you also have a responsibility because it's not just you that's called to medical missionary work. Everyone is called to it. So that means you, especially as someone that is in the medical field, need to learn the medical missionary work so that you can help train and equip your church members to be able to do that. And so it is something that is really important for everyone. It doesn't matter what area you work in, what the profession is, everyone is called to medical missionary work. This afternoon, I'm going to be covering history taking. And I know for the nurses, some of this will be review, but there will be some that I think is also new for you because we're looking at it from a lifestyle medicine standpoint. So again, some will be new, some will be a little bit different. And we'll look at also just a little bit from the Spirit of Prophecy in the Bible as far as some kind of why maybe we would do a history. So, why take a history? Well, when we're looking at history taking, we want to find out more about each individual. Everyone is different. Everyone has their own story, their own background, and is unique. And so we want to find out more about that particular individual so we can help them with their specific health challenges and with whatever they're going through. So let's take a look, first of all, at Jesus' example. Jesus gave us the example of asking questions. We see the first one here, it says, and he, that's Jesus, asked his father, this is the father of the son that had a dumb spirit, so he couldn't speak. He asked, how long is it ago since this came onto him? So in other words, how long has he had this condition, right? He's asking the question. So that's just one example. And then the next example is the story of the woman at the well. And again, Jesus asks for something. It says, there cometh a woman of Samaria to draw water. Jesus saith unto her, give me to drink. Then saith the woman of Samaria unto him, how is it that thou, being a Jew, asketh drink of me, which am a woman of Samaria? For the Jews have no dealings with the Samaritans. So in this particular story, Jesus asked for what? He asked for water. He asked for a drink of water, right? So he asked for water, but what was the purpose behind his question? He wanted to engage the woman in a spiritual conversation. That's why he was asking questions. And I think Dr. Julie probably went over this morning in Our High Calling, that the whole point of medical missionary work is what? What's the whole point of medical missionary work? To share the gospel. We want to reach people's hearts, win their hearts, so that we can minister to their spiritual needs. That's the whole purpose. And when at YouTube Pines, when I was working there, we would see again and again how we would minister to people's physical needs, and it would open up the opportunity to minister to their spiritual needs. And that's the whole purpose. That's the reason that YouTube Pines, the Lifestyle Center, exists. It's not just to make sick sinners healthy sinners. We want to make people healthy and help them to receive Christ as their Savior. That's the ultimate purpose. And so I think that's so important, because if we lose sight of that and all we're doing is we're just ministering to the physical needs of someone, then we're missing the purpose, and we're, as I'm going to get into a little bit later on, we're also missing a lot of the underlying cause of disease. So you're really not going to be able to effectively minister to people until you start ministering to the spiritual needs. And that's a must if we really want to be effective medical missionaries. So keep your purpose in mind. When we look at the spirit of prophecy also talks about history taking in a little bit different way. He says, this is a whole kind of quote here from Councils on Health. The only hope of better things is in the education of people in right principles. Let physicians teach the people that restorative power is not in drugs, but in nature. Disease is an effort of nature to free the system from conditions that result from a violation of the laws of health. In the case of sickness, what's the first thing we should do? The cause, right? The cause should be ascertained. What is it that's causing the problem? That's the first thing we should do. So if someone's sick, we want to know what is the cause. Once we figure out the cause, maybe the cause is an unhealthful condition or a wrong habit. She goes on to say unhealthful conditions should be changed, wrong habits corrected. Right? So in other words, we're looking at first, what is the cause of their illness? Right? If they have a headache, the cause of their headache is not an aspirin deficiency. Right? It's not that they don't have enough aspirin, or Tylenol. It's not a Tylenol deficiency, right?
Yeah.
It's not a deficiency of the medication. There's some cause to the headache. Maybe they're dehydrated. Maybe they have some other unhealthful lifestyle practice that is causing their headache. It could be lack of sleep. Exactly. So we want to know, it could be stress. Right? So there's many things that could be the cause, but we want to know what is the actual cause for the issue. And many times, unfortunately, modern medicine is fast-paced, and we don't take the time usually to try to ascertain the cause. We deal with what is the symptom. So if it's high blood pressure, we give them a medication to help lower their blood pressure. Okay? But we're only dealing then with symptoms. We're not dealing with the cause. If they have high blood sugar, we give them a medication maybe to help them lower their blood sugar. But again, it's not dealing with the cause, it's only dealing with symptoms. So we need to ascertain what is the cause of their health issue. Okay? Sometimes health issues can be caused by emotional problems going on in their lives. And we'll get more into that. There's a second assessment that I'll talk about that will deal more with that aspect. But we need to first deal with the cause, and then we want to change. Maybe there's some unhealthful condition. Maybe they're living in a moldy building. Maybe there's some other condition that's affecting them and causing their health issue. So we want to change that. We want to change also wrong habits. Maybe people are eating all through the day, and so they have stomach problems, okay, because they're snacking through the day. And so maybe it's a wrong habit that needs to be changed or corrected so that they can then be restored to health. Because she's first saying that if we're violating some law of health, we need to figure out what we're violating, and then we need to make the correction. Okay? Once we make the correction, then we go on, and nature is to be assisted in her efforts to expel impurities and to reestablish right conditions in the system. So we can assist the body in healing in a number of different, you could say, modalities. One of those is hydrotherapy, but there are also herbs, other natural remedies that can be useful and helpful as we do that. Of course, the New Start, you're familiar with New Start. Some people call it God's Plan. There's different acronyms for it. But basically, it's a lifestyle change that usually, at least with lifestyle diseases, is usually the issue. So we want to help them to reestablish those right conditions, detoxify their body, those sorts of things. And so this is the process. And notice, especially since we're dealing with history taking,